girls. Today we are going to have a session on the introduction of the subject foods and nutrition. All of you are very familiar with foods because we eat food 3 times a day, and only thing is we eat for taste and we don't look into anything else. So today we are going to see what is nutrition, what is the type of food you have to take, and especially because you are all teenagers, you are all young college going girls, you need to know what you should eat so that you can keep yourself healthy and you can make your skin glow and look very beautiful. You will see that one of the major priorities for our Indian nation is to have a healthy nation. Optimum nutrition and positive health through assured nutrition intake is the national priority. We need to have national priority being fulfilled. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is a basic human need. It's a prerequisite for a healthy life. And foods are fuel to a human body. It's like how you put some petrol or diesel to your automobile. Without doing that, you cannot ride on a bike, isn't it? Similarly, you need to have some fuel for your human machine, and that is food. So you will see we have so many foods, plentiful resources are there. Like you see in the picture, you have pineapple, you have fish, you have fresh foods, you have many fruits, vegetables, you have umpteen number of foods. Now what to eat to have a balanced diet? So why, and as adolescents, you require more food. Why do adolescents require more food? Because you are the second rapid period of growth. As a baby, when you are born, it was a very rapid period because in 6 months' time, you doubled your weight, and in 1 year's time, you tripled your weight. But now you don't do that, but still, the dress which you are wearing during your school days doesn't fit you now because there is rapid growth. It's a second rapid period of growth. And there's an increase in height about 9 to 10 centimeters, and in weight you increase by 8 to 10 kgs. And the growth spurt for girls is between 10 to 12 years, and for boys it's 12 to 14 years. Hormonal changes, sexual maturation, all mood swings take place during this time. Development of critical bone mass, and there's an increase in the muscle mass and fat. So this period is a very strenuous period. It's not an easy period, it's a very stormy period, both physically, mentally, psychologically. Many ways you have to adjust in, you have to give way to your growth. So, and among adolescents, girls require more attention than boys. Why are girls more vulnerable than boys? There is greater physiological stress, more loss of nutrients because of the loss of iron during menstruation. There is, you are preparing yourself for motherhood, and there is a rapid anabolic changes, more nutrients are required per unit weight, and there is more requirement for calcium. Iron requirement is increased because there has been increased amount of hemoglobin, and you have to compensate the loss during menstruation. And because of your rapid growth, there is a need for more protein. Now what is a balanced diet? Many times you have heard about taking a balanced diet. In Tamil you have heard about Sari Vigara Sama Unavu. So what is all this? What do we call balanced? We are all eating. Are we eating balanced food? So balanced diet is one which has all the essential nutrients in the required amounts. You will see there carbohydrates, proteins, fats. These are the major foods. Apart from it, you have vitamins, minerals, and water. So all the 6 nutrients should be provided in adequate amount for your diet. Only then it's called a balanced diet. So a balanced diet helps you to have a blend of various food groups. We have divided the entire foods. You saw plentiful foods were there. Now how can we have a little bit of rice, a little bit of pulses, little bit of greens, little bit of fruits, all this thing in a plate, and can you have it? You cannot. So you have to have some sort of a schedule that's called basic food groups, which will have bread, other cereals and bread, cereals and potatoes are grouped into one, and then milk and dairy foods, fish and other fresh foods, fruits and vegetables. So one from each group. You can have one item from the bread group, one item from the milk and dairy products, one item from the milk and other fresh foods, and one item from the fruits and vegetables. So if you have a variety of this, then that plate is supposed to be a balanced diet. So balanced diet should provide not only these 6 nutrients, apart from this certain non-nutrients are also present, and that should be provided, like dietary fiber, antioxidants, nutraceuticals, phytochemicals, all in combination. The natural foods which contain all the essential nutrients plus the non-nutrients together make up the balanced diet. Now how do we plan a balanced diet? So you have here steps. So in the last step you have all the cereals, pulses, some milk and other things. So all those should be taken adequate. That is what is required. Maybe 1-2 glasses of milk per day. Maybe 300 grams or 600 grams of cereals per day. Then the next one is eat liberally. Fruits and vegetables you can eat any amount. There's no restriction at all. Only 1 apple I should eat a day, or only 100 grams of greens I should take. No, there's no restriction. You can take liberal amounts of fruits and vegetables. Then the next one is eat moderately. Meat, fish, all the flesh foods are supposed to be taken. It's good for health, but taken at a moderate level. Then the next one, the last one, is the eat sparingly. All the high fat diets like butter, cheese, sugar, honey, syrup, jam, jellies, all these things which are very attractive and you like it very much, but that should be taken sparingly. And you see the food pyramid. Food pyramid has all the nutrients, that is grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, meat and beans. But with addition to that, in the previous steps I did not show you this, but you have to have proper exercise. Exercise together with all the essential nutrients will help you to have a balanced diet and good health. So how do we classify foods? Foods can be classified as energy-yielding foods, body-building foods and regulative foods. Energy-yielding foods are all fat-rich and carbohydrate-rich foods. They are cereals, roots and tubers, flesh foods, oils, fats and sugars. The body, that is the food which is giving you energy. You are getting up in the morning, you are getting dressed up, you are coming to college, you are sitting in the class, you are moving from one class to the other, you are listening, you are writing. Any work that you do requires energy, and energy is given by the energy-yielding foods. The second one is body-building food, protein and mineral-rich foods. Protein and other foods are also required because your entire body is made up of protein. Every centimeter of your body is made up of protein. So for regular growth, you may be saying, ma'am, now I am an adolescent girl, I don't grow anymore. No, you do grow. You are the second rapid period of growth, and also your hair, nails keep on growing. So for growth you require protein. Not only growth, daily wear and tear. In case you run to the office and you have a fall, you scratch your skin and immediately the new skin grows up. So continuously some wear and tear is taking place, some maintenance is there. Just like how you have a bike at home and you leave it in the workshop for maintenance or for service. Similarly, our body also undergoes regular wear and tear, and that has to be repaired and that has to be maintained. For that also it requires protein. And the next one is regulative foods. Already your body is functioning normally. Your heart is beating 70 to 80 times per minute and your respiration is 12 to 14. All these things are normal. That should be maintained. That should be regulated. Your heart cannot beat more. You cannot have anything more or less. Everything should be at the normal level. So to maintain the body functions, you need regulative foods mainly made up of vitamin and mineral rich foods, that is vegetables and fruits. Now the basic 5 food groups, I'm sorry it is in a handwritten manner, but anyway the same thing you have seen earlier. The protein foods, all the protein foods will be the pulses, the flesh foods, which will give you protein, B vitamins, minerals and fiber. The green leafy and citrus fruits are the protective foods or the regulative foods, which yields mainly vitamin C, vitamin A, fiber and iron. Then you have yellow colored, that is yellow or orange colored fruits and vegetables, which yields vitamin A and C and fiber. Then you have the other fruits and vegetables. Then you have cereals, roots and tubers. See here you will see cereals, roots and tubers are put together. But usually what do you do? In case your mommy is going to give you lime rice, what is the accompaniment she will give along with it? Or what do you like? You like potato. Potato is a favorite fruit, vegetable for all the children and young girls. Now you see potato and rice gives the same nutrient. It gives only starch. It's a rich source of starch, fats, also B vitamins. So if you are taking both rice and potato, you are going to leave off all the other nutrients in the other groups. Only one particular cereals, roots and tubers are put together, and roots and tubers, especially potato, yam, etc. and rice, give the same nutrients. But most of the time we make the mistake of taking both this together. So we leave off the protein group, we leave off the last group or the third group, vegetable group. So it is not balanced. So balanced diet, we have one item from the fourth group, that is cereals, roots and tubers. And last group is fats, oils and pure carbohydrates. There is no need to tell about that. Anyway, you will have fats and oils in your daily meal. They will do the seasoning in case I'm taking sambar or chutney or whatever it is. Every time you will have some amount of oil, and you have sugar in the milk or coffee or tea or whatever it is. So the last group is a must, you will have it. And even the fourth group, cereals, roots and tubers, definitely you will have. The only thing you will miss out is the second and the third group, which is comprised of fruits and vegetables. So most of us will not take adequate amount. We'll take fruits, we'll take vegetables, but not in the adequate level. So you should have one item from the first group, that is a protein group, one item from the second group, that is the protective group, green leaf vegetables and citrus fruits, and the third group, that is other fruits and vegetables, and orange and yellow colored fruits and vegetables, and then one from the cereals, roots and tubers, and the last one from fats. So if you have one item from each of these food groups, then it can be said you are having a balanced diet. So then you know what is a balanced diet, how much to take. So that's also important for teenagers, especially cereals. 30 grams into 10 portions, so 300 grams of cereals, 60 grams of pulses, 600 ml of milk, 100 grams of green leaf vegetables, 100 grams of other vegetables, 100 grams of fruits, 30 grams, that's 6 teaspoons of sugar and 5 teaspoons of oil. So that is the daily recommended allowance. So from this you will see bread, cereal, rice, that's the main thing that we take. How much to take? 6 to 11 servings per day you should take. What is a serving? A serving is one slice of bread or half a cup of cooked rice. So like half a cup of cooked rice means you know. So that 6 to 11 servings you can have per day. Then vegetables, 3 to 5 servings. You will see children can be healthy by eating vegetables with meals, and they can use fruits and vegetables as snacks also. So cut up vegetables can be used as afternoon snacks. Children can prefer foods served separately. They don't like combined two vegetables together, they don't like. They like it separately, so it's better you have separately some carrots and some beans like that. Okay, next. You will see fruits are also very important, very colorful, very attractive, but I don't know how many of you take fruits. You can think to yourself, do you like fruits? Even if you don't like fruits, you should get into the habit of liking it, because eating fruits will provide a lot of health benefits, and people who eat more fruits and vegetables have reduced risk of chronic diseases, and they provide the vital nutrients. So the next group is milk, yogurt and cheese, 2 to 4 servings per day. Milk, I know everybody takes milk, and curd, I don't know how many of you like it, but it's a must that you take curd, because curd is very important. It has live microorganisms in it, and but most of us take curd kept in the refrigerator. So you will all sit for lunch, and then only curd means it will be taken from the refrigerator. When you keep it in the fridge, it is stopping the growth of the microorganisms. The curd is one item that has live microorganisms, very beneficial for your gut health. You will see the next one is meat, poultry, fish, dry beans, eggs, etc. This is also very important. In case now there is a question, now ma'am, I am a vegetarian, what do I do? Meat, fish, egg and poultry are the best sources of protein. They give complete proteins. All the 8 essential amino acids are there. But in case you are a vegetarian, still there is a good news. You can combine both cereals and pulses together. Cereals have some amino acids and pulses have some amino acids. Cereals lack one particular essential amino acid called lysine. Pulses lack one amino acid called methionine. Both, if they are put together, they will complement each other, and it's as equal to eating a egg or taking meat or taking any other flesh food. So all the 8 essential amino acids will be there. So cereal pulse combination, you will see in your normal diet you have idli, which is a cereal pulse mix, pongal, which is again cereal pulse mix. So we take both together, it fulfills all the needs which will be fulfilled by a flesh food. Then the last one is fats, oils and sweets. I suppose I need not talk much about it because everybody is taking it regularly, but only thing you have to use it sparingly. use small amounts of fats, oils and sugars. So vitamin D I wanted to say because vitamin D is one item which we think we get from the sunlight. But many times you live in a very crowded place or in a closed atmosphere, you don't expose yourself to the sun, and even nowadays the girls don't go out to play. They sit inside the house and they use the gadgets. So with all this is a very minimum amount of vitamin D that you get. Vitamin D helps your bones to be healthy. Vitamin A, you all know, it is an essential nutrient and it's good for vision and for glowing skin. You see all the foods which are rich sources of vitamin A. All the orange and yellow colored fruits and vegetables are good sources of vitamin A, and you will have good eyesight and you have a glowing skin when you take a vitamin rich food. Vitamin C is also very important because it's called the wound healing vitamin. So suddenly if there is a wound somewhere, it has to get healed. For the wound to heal, you have to take vitamin C. You see vitamin C in oranges helps your body to heal if you get a cut. There is a water soluble vitamin. It is a water soluble vitamin. You need to replace it every day. Vitamin C doesn't get stored in your body. In case you are taking 2 oranges today, you cannot say that the vitamin C will be stored in your body. It will be excreted. Water amount is 40 milligrams is required per day. Means only that amount will be taken up by the body. The rest will be excreted in the urine. So every day vitamin C should be replaced. Healthy breakfast. I want to especially talk about breakfast because as young college going girls, very rarely you spend time to take breakfast, especially when it is a working day. So breakfast is very, very important. Eat your breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. You imagine you are a car after a long night of sleeping. Your fuel tank is empty. Breakfast is a fuel that gets you going. After a whole night's rest, almost 8 hours of rest, you then just take a cup of coffee or milk and you come to college. So you don't have adequate fuel in your system to carry on life. So you have to have your breakfast is very, very important. So I put it as any breakfast is better than no breakfast. Something. It could be a porridge, it could be a fruit, it could be something, but you should have breakfast. Snacks. Again, snacks are very important for us. A piece of fresh fruit, carrot, low-fat yogurt are just a few examples of snacks. Snacks when we take, it's not the Lay's chips and Kurkure and other things. It should be a vegetable or a fruit which makes it healthy, because you like snacks, and when you sit for a TV viewing also, all the time you have only snacks. You have what sort of snacks do you have? You have chips or masala kadalai, isn't it? So you need to have some change in the type of snacks that you take. So I just put one sample breakfast, lunch and dinner. For breakfast, idli, dosa, that gives the food groups. I hope you remember, you can review back the basic 5 food group that I just discussed. The first group is the protein group, the fourth group is the cereal and root and tuber group, and the fifth group is fats and oils. So all the 3 groups are satisfied with idli and dosa. Then mint chutney, group 2, boiled egg, omelette or brinjal sambar, banana and orange. Then lunch you can have rice, drumstick sambar, beans, masala, carrot, purat, mutton, liver, masala, soya beans, curds, pomegranate. Dinner, chapati, chana masala, cucumber onion salad, mango milkshake. So all this, I just put it in such a way that all the basic 5 food groups are being met, and it's a balanced diet. Next. So these are different stages. So as a baby, as a child, as an adult, adolescent, as an adult woman, as an elderly person, all of us require different types of nutrients. So excess or deficiency of any essential nutrient is called malnutrition. When all the foods, whatever I discussed, is taken the right amount, so that type of food is a balanced diet. It is a good nutrition or optimum nutrition. But in case there is a deficiency of one or more nutrients, you get excess of something or less of something, then that is called malnutrition. And malnutrition can be either undernutrition or overnutrition. How will you know whether you are undernourished or you are obese or whatever? There is a formula that is called the body mass index. Desirable ideal body mass, actually it is weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squared. So I have put the formula there. So you can yourself do it and see your weight in kilograms and divide it by your height, make your height into meters and you square it. So that number you will get. So with that, desirable ideal body weight is 18.5 to 25. Chronic energy disorder, that is you are undernourished if you are less than 18.5. You are overweight if you are 25 to 30. You are obese if you are more than 30. So 10% above the ideal weight is called overweight. 20% above the ideal weight is obesity. So obesity, why I am talking about obesity? Because nowadays youngsters, if you become obese, you are so conscious, you want to be so lean and slim and beautiful. It's good that you do that because obesity will lead to a number of other problems like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So why I am talking about obesity? Obesity is a predisposing factor, is a causative factor for many of the problems like high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes, gallstones, etc. So you will see that you have to keep away from obesity. You will see here an extra inch on your waistline is a year less on your lifeline. So you don't become obese overnight. Little by little. Today maybe your friend has brought, celebrating her birthday, she has given you a piece of cake. It gives you 30 calories. So the 30 calories will remain as such. Do you do any extra work to spend the energy given by the cake? No. So that remains inside. Maybe a few days later somebody gives you a laddu and that gives you 50 calories. So that again comes. So 50 plus 30, 80 calories. So little, you will see all those little fellows there, no? All those little fellows, they are holding one to another, they are climbing up, and then finally after 6 months or maybe a year, all the little amounts of calories that are being accumulated become one big thing and you become obese. So that usually happens during your holidays. You are given 1 month holiday, you are at home, you come back and say, ma'am, I have put on weight here, here, here. Why? Because 1 month you have not done anything. You have been looking at the TV, you have been only playing video games, and then you have been eating all types of snacks which are rich in calories. So little calories, when it's not being spent, then that only leads to obesity. So the only advice I would give is, in case you are taking extra calories a day, get down 2 stops before in your bus stop. Don't get in your usual bus stop and walk the distance. When you walk the distance, you are spending that energy. Only way you can reduce is spending that extra energy. So if you are going to keep quiet, do the same work, go day in and day out, then that's going to get accumulated, that leads to obesity. So overeating has to be avoided. Proper physical activity essential to maintain desirable body weight. All of you as young girls, you all want to maintain your body weight, isn't it? So the only way you can maintain your weight is eat the balanced diet and do exercise regularly. In case you have consciously taken more, you had a feast, then make an effort to do some extra work to wind up or to give away that calories. So you will see energy in and energy out, it should be the same, that is balanced. If energy in is lesser, energy out is more, then you are on the leaner side, and then energy in is more and energy out is less, then that gets accumulated and leads to obesity. So healthy and positive cooking practices. Do not wash food grains repeatedly. If you keep on washing your rice, every washing will remove 30% of the nutrients. So you want to make the rice so white and you clean it 4 or 5 times. So all the nutrients, little nutrients that there also are being removed and you only eat the residue. Do not wash vegetables after cutting. You should cut the vegetables, you should wash the vegetables and only then cut it. Because while cutting itself, some nutrients are lost, and after cutting, if you wash it, all the nutrients will be lost. So most of the vegetables, wash it first before cutting, especially greens. Clean the greens when it is whole, the leaves, and then you cut it. After cutting, don't wash it at all. But for some vegetables, we need to do it, especially brinjal, potatoes, etc., because that will turn dark. So you have to put it in water. That's different. Very few vegetables, but most of the vegetables, wash it when it is whole. Then you cut it. After cutting, don't wash it. Immediately cook it. Do not soak or cut the vegetables in water for a long time. Do not discard excess water left over after cooking. Keep only little amount of water while cooking, and as the thing gets cooked, add sprinkle little water. Don't add lots of water and then say there's excess water, you want to spit it out. Then it is very difficult because all the nutrients will get dissolved and it will be there in that water. And that is being poured out, all the nutrients are gone. Then prefer pressure cooking to deep frying and roasting. Consume sprouted and fermented foods. That's also a new method. Olden days, everybody was using it. Nowadays, nobody is using the sprouted foods. So please get in the habit of taking sprouted foods because rich source of protein, vitamins and minerals. Do not heat the leftover oil repeatedly. Tips for good health: exercise regularly, check regularly for blood glucose, lipids and blood pressure at the age of 30, avoid self-medication, adopt stress management techniques. Dietary guidelines: a nutritionally adequate diet should be consumed. Green leaf vegetables, other vegetables and fruits should be used in plenty. Cooking oils and animal food should be used in moderation, and ghee and vanaspati should be used sparingly. All that we have spoken for the whole class, I am just summarizing it. Overeating should be avoided, physical activity is essential, salt should be used in moderation, healthy and positive cooking practice should be adopted, water and beverages should be taken in moderation. So I think today's lecture you would have understood well, and please review it again and again and eat balanced diet and exercise regularly so that you are very healthy, and that is the wealth that you can have.